Oh my God. Okay. I'm here. I was a little late. It was really late. I was late to the seventh power, to the utmost seventh power. But we're here again. And we're talking about Fani Willis today. Thank you guys so much for being patient. It was for a good reason, right? I had to get everything ready. If people are like, is the chat frozen? Is she watching Lord of the Rings? Where is she? And listen, today is a special day because the plot's going to thicken. I have a refresh soundboard. Crazy. Listen up. And it's totally Americana. I love vintage things. I love like old school Americana things. So like as this brand starts to refresh throughout the year, you're going to learn a little bit more about that, okay? That's where we're going. So I thank you guys for dealing with my shenanigans and being here. You know, like I want to see who we have in the chat. And then we're going to pull up these court documents because Fani Willis, guess what, guys? She thinks she's above the law. You know you like it. Come on. It's cheesy, but you know you like it. You know you like it. Let's see who we have in the building, and then we're going to get started with what we have for today. Shout out to Nurse Janice, who's like, hope to still be awake. Nurse Janice, I mean, I don't know how you do it. How do you watch American YouTubers if you're 6 hours ahead? It's got to be damn near midnight where you are, right? It's got to be there. E. Capone says, I forgot all about Fani. Did you? Did you forget about the others? Did you forget about him, E. Capone? Shout out to the Jimmy Struther, who says Fani. Listen, we say Fani kind of on purpose here. Okay? Just purpose. Just a little bit. Shout out to Andrew T, who's in the building, who says only in her wackadoodle mind is she above the law. I mean, wait till you guys see the doozy that we have in this law document. It's insane. Shout out to Carol, who says happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. Shout out to Corky, who's in here. John's in here. Sunday afternoon with the other daughter. I love it. Cora's in the building, who says, here's one. Cover the NAR settlement. That one has endless milk too, AV. I will check it out, Cora. Thank you so much. I'll look at this on replay. Diana says, Cora, thanks. I would love this topic. Okay, I'll check it out, guys. It looks like you guys are really interested in that one. Good evening to Wilshie. Good evening to Lizzie. Papa V is in here. He says, hi, folks. Hope you're all having a blessed day. Shout out to Cribbage Board. Says, starting student. Yes, listen, I was super late to the seventh power, but we're here now. We're going to get started, guys, and jump into these court documents, see what you all think, and then look at the week ahead. Of course, we are still focusing on the Trump trial as well. We now have a full panel of 12 jurors that are selected and ready to go. I hope this video doesn't get demonetized, but I have to report on the news. Someone was lit on fire on Friday in New York. I don't know what the hell's going on there. The plot thickens. Crazy. Listen up. Fire. Like, let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger. We can bring in that voice, like bring in the choppers. Wow. Someone lit himself on fire. I believe it was a Florida man just outside of the courthouse. So like this case is like insane. Number one, we are not able to look at the Trump case in the, like, it's not live streamed. And that is so crazy for us that are these legal people from home watching it and wanting to commentate with you guys. But what it does do, and I did mention this in my last video describing day one of the trial, is you have the main media sources that are in the room. And the only way we can track everything that's happening is by what they are reporting on Twitter for us to get the fast news. But we're also supporting, or not even supporting, we're also subject to what they report daily, right? The first few days, I really wanted to take my time and parse out what they're reporting and how, look at the Twitter feeds of the main people reporting on it. But I'll be honest, guys, like this is just me telling you, I don't really think it's a fair way to share what's happening in the trial. On one side, you have people like, oh my gosh, he can't go to Barron's high school thing. But at the same time, you have the others that are like, he's falling asleep right now. And it's just like, it's court. I'm not saying that if he fell asleep that it would be okay, but there, like, there's hashtags like Sleepy Dawn and all types of things. And it's just like, all right, can we just report what's actually happening? Because I do believe if legal professionals like me were to be able to be in the room, I think we would have a much different viewpoint on what's happening. What we do have is mainstream media reporting it. And that is why there is such a greater need for independent news sources or independent viewpoints. Shout out to Robin, who says the odor of mendacity permeates the entirety of Fulton County, GA. Listen, Robin, great point. One of the other things me and my editor are working on today, I need to send it to him tonight, but I just recorded something else for you guys, and it is a reaction of one of Fani Willis's employees on the Young Thug case, literally screaming in court. Bang, bang. Just screaming. I was like, okay, why do we talk to judges like that? It's a little bit insane. So that video is coming for you guys too. I can't wait. And again, we're going to be monitoring the Trump trial. Shout out to Tay Biz, who says our girl Fani been moving that bread around. I mean, Joshua, yes, I was late. Joshua. I did it. Okay. Hi, Diane. Good to see you. E. Capone says AV's working on her mixtape. Papa V says AV isn't late. A body's going to make an entrance. Oh, a body's going to make an entrance. Listen, I'm here. Was I on Central Time? No, I'm here. All right, guys. I'm not even going to keep you waiting any more longer than we have been. I do see a few supers in there. We're going to get in there, but because you guys have been super patient, I think we are just going to jump into content. So firstly, what are we talking about today? We're talking about Fani Willis, and she has a number of lawsuits that are happening right now. We have the Georgia bar that's looking at her. We also have the issue with Nathan Wade and her getting disqualified from the case on the Georgia election trial with Trump. It appears that she has not been let go of that case. Nathan Wade instead stepped down. The last that Lead and I covered on this was we went to the divorce matter between Nathan Wade and Joycelyn Wade, and we actually had the opportunity to bring Joycelyn Wade, her attorney. We brought her attorney onto the platform, and we were able to have a discussion with her and interview her. So if you missed that, what I will do after this episode ends is I will link a card up above here somewhere. So if you missed that interview, you can check it out. It's a really great conversation. As far as this case, it's still powering on. But what it also does is allows us to see what some of the other lawsuits surrounding it, what they are about, and what they entail. I have 2 documents to share with you guys today on Fani, because here's the thing with Fani. Obviously, the shenanigans are always going to take place. Always. They don't stop. Especially with her. But the shenanigans in this place, or at least what we're going to talk about tonight, is still like we're talking about the odor of mendacity, but it's the defiance for me. I think you're going to see that reflected in the way that office types documents out. There's just this level of defiance that is just not necessarily appropriate for the legal profession. So I'm going to show you 2 things. Number 1 is the Bentley Media Group and how they are suing the office of Fani Willis. Here's that document here. And it's a few things that we're looking at. Number 1, this is the original complaint, and they want to, and it was filed in February, right before all of the bombshell stuff started to happen. What they wanted to do is to enforce Fani's team to comply with the Georgia Open Records Act. So I'll walk you guys through that act and why it's important. And then we will start looking at this, which was filed last week. Shout out to Professor Nez and a few other people that have been on top of this case, filed by the Bentley Media Group and responded to by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. There is a motion to dismiss, right? And this comes from Fani's office. She has a bombshell statement that she makes in this document that proves, and not only proves, also highlights the defiantness that we've seen everywhere. We've seen it in media appearances. We've seen it on the stand. We've seen it in accepting awards. We've seen it over these past few weeks in a way that is amplified and highlighted to the point where it's just like, all right, I think we have a problem here. But when we are now putting it in legal documents and saying, hey, you know, might be above the law. So sorry, I don't know what you think. Like the plot's gonna thicken, but crazy. We must be, listen up, above the law. Fani really believes that she is above the law here. This office does not have to follow what you guys are telling us to do. We saw it with Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan, the DOJ, they're like, Fani Willis, hey, we gave you some money, right? We gave you some money 2 years ago. How are you going to use that money? How are these funds being used? It should be used for specific purposes to bring it back to the community. We saw that it was not brought back to the community, and that's a big problem. So the House committee wanted to see how the funds were spent. Sent Fani Willis a letter. She responds and says, you're not getting these documents. I don't care how fast you want them. The other issue is you want these documents now, but we are now prosecuting a president. We don't have time for this. We don't have time to stop what we're doing. We don't have time to take our resources away from pursuing justice. We don't have time for that. So you're going to wait, and we're going to give you these documents on a rolling basis. Jim Jordan responds and says, if you don't give it to us on March 28th at 12 p.m., we will put you in contempt. Guys, has anybody seen? I haven't seen her in contempt. She was able to file a document after. Ave Maria. Afterward. These sounds are so funny. Now that I hear them for the first time, it's like a refreshed soundboard. I'm like, okay, it's all Kill Bill themes. Let's go. But here's the thing. We are not able to see that they have been received in the right way. The defiance continues. So jumping into these documents, we're going to show you a fourth level of the defiance continuing. Okay. We have her on the stand, dating a married man, all of that stuff, right? We've got her defying Congress. But with this is another lawsuit. And let's look at it. I'm going to share this tab. We're going to look at the original filing. And this is back in February. Okay. So we have the Bentley Media Group. Okay. They're filing something against a complaint against the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. This is Fani's office. And let me just make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. And what are they asking for? They're asking for these folks to comply with the Georgia Open Records Act. All right, let's see what they say. The BMG group files this complaint to ensure that Fulton County, their DA's office, provides public access to documents in accordance with the Georgia Open Records Act. Who are the parties? You have BMG, the Bentley Media Group, operates as Just the News. It's a web-based news organization with TV and podcast operations. It's kind of like you know what it's like? It's kind of like a me. It's kind of like a YouTuber. I'm like, hey, I'm going to see you for not opening up your records. Crazy. Listen. Listen up. Let's get back in here. John Salomon is JTM's chief executive officer. So he's their CEO. And what does John say here? And he's their editor in chief. He's an award-winning investigative journalist, an author, a digital media entrepreneur who is reported for the AP, so the Associated Press, the Washington Post, the Washington Times, Newsweek, the Daily Beast, and The Hill. So he's got some reputable places that he's worked for here. The website may be found at Just the News, okay? JTN has consistently reported on criminal investigations and trials of national significance. The defendant, the Fulton County's DA's office, is an agency, and that term is defined by this law here and is subject to the Georgia Open Records Act. Okay, so this is them filing their initial document in the lawsuit. So they're telling you who are the parties, where is the jurisdiction and venue. It is going to be in Georgia based off of the Georgia Open Records Act. Venue is proper, so that means that the lawsuit should be brought in Georgia. Now, this is the juicy part, and this is what always happens, guys. We have to go to the statement of facts to understand how these lawsuits were brought, what people are saying, why it's important, and why they are suing each other, and what the defense is saying too. So, January 11th, this is an important date. Why? January 11th is important because on January 8th, that's when Michael Roman and Ashley Merchant bought their lawsuit. It's also important because that is also the date after Lead and I talked to Joycelyn Wade's attorney. That is the date that they also filed a document in Nathan Wade's divorce. So you had two documents filed on that date, January 8th. January 11th, though, is a little bit different because that's when this media company filed their lawsuit against the district attorney's office. Okay, let's see what they say here. And I'll make myself smaller so you guys can follow along and zoom in a tad bit more. Okay. So, investigative reporter Stephen Richards submitted an open records request to Fulton County, and this is what he submitted. He says, all records of the meetings between DA Fani Willis and Nathan Wade or any other staff of the DA's office with any White House or Federal Department of Justice officials, both in Georgia and DC, from January 1 from 2021 and present. So they wanted to see copies of that. Anytime you guys went to the White House, we also want all communications between Fani Willis or Nathan Wade with the White House and Department of Justice officials between January 1st and the present. So this media company had a simple request. We know from experience that this office is not necessarily going to give it to you because they're busy prosecuting crimes. I don't think like any other prosecutor's office in the nation can like just defiantly say that to people. I mean, granted, it's a news agency and they're not asking you for much. But here's the thing. When you get a request like this, you know what they're looking for. You know what they're looking for. They want to see Fani, hey, you talked to the DOJ. You also talked to the White House. We want to see the communications that you've had with them. But we also want to see, and let me go back to this so you guys can follow along with me. They want to see both in Georgia and DC, all communications is one, but they want to see the meeting minutes as well. So that's two. So records of meetings and records of communications. All right, that's what we want to see here. So let's keep going. Going back to January 11th, They received a letter stating that the Fulton County DA's office is in receipt of the open records request. And they have it in here as Exhibit 2. The request was assigned with a reference number and a tracking number for different purposes, right? That was January 11th. A month later, on February 12th, remember, Fani took the stand on February 14th, JTN received a letter stating that the Office of the Fulton County District Attorney does not maintain records responsive to your request. At this time, there are no records that are responsive to this open records request. So, independent media company, Fani comes back. Her team is like, bang, bang. We don't have it. We don't have anything that's related to White House communications. And we also don't have anything that's related to any meeting minutes. These are matters of public record. So if the White House had it, it would be public record. But if you're the local official that met with them, I mean, we would think that you would have it. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that this office has it and they're playing games, or put a 2 in the chat if you're like, hey, bang, bang, they don't have it. Bang, bang, they don't have it. I mean, they have to have something, but they're saying that at this time, there are no records that are responsive to this open records request. But the plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen. It thickens because it says on January 25th, in a hearing before the Fulton County Superior Court, the attorney from the office of the Fulton County DA's office admitted that it communicated with the White House in 2 written letters about logistics and procedures. So, crazy. Listen up. So, sorry, I'm going old school Americana. I'm going to bring all types of sounds in from the 50s and 60s. If we are saying, if you have just said to people, we don't have any records that comply with this request at all, but a week after you guys have responded and said that, we're in court with someone saying that you indeed have those records. You have them. You have them. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be entertaining. Like, I don't know how to say this name. Gillahant? You are so animated. I don't know how to take you seriously. You may know about law, but I'm not sure where you're coming from. I'm sorry. So sorry for you, my friend. What I'm trying to say is, number one, this office said that they had no records to comply with this request. But at the same time, in number 9 here, what they're also saying is that they are communicating in court that they do have records in that request. I hope that makes sense. And yes, the sounds might be a little distracting. I'm just really excited to have refreshed them. So I hope that clears it up, buddy. It also says, Stephen Richards, Fulton County DA, discloses 2 communications with Biden White House in a court hearing in Just the News. Right. So it looks like there's that. And they also mentioned it in Judge McAfee's court as well. So we see that as well. In response to Judge McAfee's question regarding the extent of the office of Fani Willis, their communications with the Office of White House Counsel, the attorney answered, 1 written letter. Well, there were 2 written letters. Here's what that means for the person that didn't understand me. This office said that they did not have any communications and could not reply to the open records request because there were no communications with the White House. I really hope this is clear now. As we can see, this citation right here on number 10 shows that one of Fani Willis's employees was in court. Judge McAfee asked them a question, and they said there were actually 2 written letters. That's a contradiction. You say you have nothing, but this proves that you have something. If that's not clear, I mean, maybe it's the sounds, maybe it's me, but I'm trying to be entertaining at the same time, brother. So I hope that helped. But yeah, there's a contradiction here. That's what this entire stream is about. Is the contradiction. Is this media group asking for clarity on that contradiction? And we are about to see how Team Fani responded when asked about this contradiction. Okay, because this is a court document. This is this media company suing Fani Willis's office saying, hey, we're asking you for open records request, but we're suing you because not only did you not comply with it, you lied and said that there were not documents available when there were. And you also testified in court. Your office also testified that those documents exist. Why not share them? They're a matter of public record and they're White House documents. We can get them from the White House. But if you're saying that there's nothing wrong here, there's nothing to see here, release the documents. This is the same thing we saw with the Jim Jordan thing. If there's no misappropriation of funds, release the documents, release the hounds. Let us see it. I don't know. Guys, am I not clear? Can you put a 1 in the chat if I'm clear? Or put a 2 in the chat. And I'm saying this respectfully if you're like, I'm still a little bit confused on what this entire stream is about. 1 in the 2s. Let me see. Let me see. Thank you, Teach. Thank you, Captain Teach. All right. PvP. Q-Tip is here. Lady Dies like 1.5. I respect that. Shout out to Brian Donovan. Di, are you still confused? Corky's in here. Tay's in here. All right. It seems like you guys. Rob's in here. Rob will tell you. Rob is a real one. He will tell you. He's like, this doesn't make sense. Rob will tell you. Brian's still confused too. All right. Let me keep going. Because like for those that are still like, hey, I still don't get it. Let's just keep going. I think it will clear it up as we go, right? Anywho, going back to the original court document filed by the media company that's like, Fani, we wanted to see your White House records. You are telling us that you don't have them, that they are not available, but you're also testifying in court saying that they are available and that you have two. Let's continue on. It says, these letters are responsive to their request for communications with the White House or the Department of Justice officials between January 1, 2021 to the present. Moreover, the attorney from the Office of the Fulton County District Attorney agreed with Judge McAfee's statement that a meeting did occur. This happened on January 25th. So this media company is saying, Fani, your team is telling us you guys don't have records, but you are in court saying that two letters exist. And you also said to the judge that a meeting did occur. Records of that meeting are responsive to the request for all records between DA Fani Willis, Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, and other staff on the DA's office with any White House or Federal Department of Justice officials, both in Georgia and the District of Columbia, so DC, from January 1 to present. Despite the defendant's knowledge of the existence of these responsive records, on January 25th, 2024, the defendant stated that there are no records that are responsive to your open records request. And they sent that on February 12th. So what does that mean? We're looking at the media company's initial complaint suing Fani Willis's office. They are saying, hey, we requested to have these access to these records based off of a Georgia state law that shows that you need to share them because they are a matter of public record. In January, you said that they didn't exist. In January, some of your people also testified that they did exist. And in February, you yourself, your team, also testified that they did exist. Are you lying to us? Like, what is happening here? We don't understand. Help us clarify. So, because you're not responding to us, we're going to sue you in court. And here's the claims for relief. The claims for relief They repeat paragraphs 1 through 14. That's what I just read to you guys. They are citing the law here. Georgia Open Records Act declares that the strong public policy of the state is in favor of open government. And that means that an open government is essential to free, open, and democratic society. Further, public access to public records should be encouraged to foster confidence in government. And so that public can evaluate the expenditure of public funds. Hello, Jim Jordan. And the efficient and proper functioning of its institutions. The Georgia Assembly has found and declared that there is a strong presumption that public records should be made available for public inspection without delay. This is what the law says. It continues on to say, it shall also be broadly construed to allow the inspection of governmental records. The exceptions shall be interpreted narrowly to exclude only those proportions of records addressed by each exception. So it seems like there are exceptions to this law, but they continue to cite it. Here's how you can tell. Usually if you see this here at the end of these paragraphs where it says OCGA, that is typically the law that they're citing, the statute that they're citing. You see the S squiggly line? That tells you what page you can find it on, what rule number you can find it on. So this is 15-1871A. And notice that if you go down, it starts to, you'll see it kind of increase, right? Like, so we went to 15-1871. Now we go to 15-1870, and then we go to 15-1873. So they're pulling pieces from this law to show how their rights were infringed. So I'm going to repeat 19. All public records shall be open for personal inspection and copying, except those by which the order of a court of this state or by law are specifically exempted from disclosure. So there are some things that are safe from being disclosed. The defendant and its agency subject to the Open Records Act. So they're basically saying Fani's team is subject to this law. That's what 20 basically says. 21 says that if the plaintiff is a corporation entitled to enforce the Georgia Open Records Act, right? And they give us the statute again. The plaintiff properly requested public records in accordance with the law. In its response, Fani's team did not withhold any documents in accordance, right? The defendant has failed to produce for inspection all records responsive to the plaintiff's records request and therefore violated the act. So what does this company want from Fani's team? They request that this court do a few things. Number one, they want to declare that the records sought by the request, as described in the paragraphs, must be disclosed. So they are saying, Fani and team, if you have anything related to the point where you guys went to the White House, any meetings you've had with the White House, it falls under the Georgia Open Records Act. You guys are saying that you don't have them, but you're also testifying under oath saying that they exist. So you either A, you have them, or two, you're hiding them. I mean, I think that's what we're saying here. So they want to make sure that the records must be disclosed. That's the first thing that they want. Number two, grant the plaintiff declaratory relief, declaring that the defendant violated the Open Records Act when it failed to produce all records responsive to the plaintiff under that statute. So now they're like, Judge, they didn't give us the documents that we asked for. And they're making us look crazy by filing this lawsuit. We also want them to make a statement declaring that we are not being unreasonable by asking for these documents. Media companies do it every single day. Every single day. How do you think that we are able to show you guys these court documents? Media companies release these documents all the time, right? But typically when they start reporting, they have to ask for the documents from specific sources. So they try to go by the book here and go to Fani's team and ask for them. They didn't get them. The third thing that they want is order the defendant, so Fani's team, to comply with the request pursuant to the Georgia Open Records Act and provide any records. They also want to make sure that this company, their attorney's fees and costs incurred in filing this action are paid for by Fani's team, and provide further such relief as this court deems just and proper. Okay, this looks like it is coming from Hamilton Ding, and they are the first American First Legal Foundation in DC. Ooh, and this is filed February 21st. Okay, attorneys for plaintiff. All right, so they are representing the America First Legal Foundation is representing the Bentley Media Group, which is the media company that asked for these documents in the first place. So that is the initial foundation of this. What I am now going to do, and I hope you guys are strapped in, because there's some shenanigans. Shout out to the people that think my sounds are confusing. But let us now look at these documents from a different perspective. We're going to look at them from Fani's team's response. Okay. Here's what we have. This was filed last week. Not even last week, probably like a week and a half ago at this point. April 3rd. Okay. This is Fani's team finally responding to this document that they filed in February. Sound familiar? So Fulton County's DA's office, they want a motion to dismiss and in a brief in support of that. Comes now, Fulton County DA's office, by and through undersigned counsel, moves this honorable court to dismiss the claims against it for failure to state a claim upon which can be a relief can be granted. So Fani's team is saying, hey, you're bringing on this lawsuit. It's not strong enough. You're failing to state a claim in which a relief can be granted. Let's keep going. Because the Fulton County's DA's office is an entity, here it is. Are you guys ready? Not capable of being sued. And because the requested material is statutorily exempt from disclosure under the Open Records Act. I do think that we'll break down the second part. But listen to how they open this document. Pursuant to this statute, because the Fulton County DA's office is an entity not capable of being sued. This is where I miss my buzzer. Crazy. Listen up. Every DA's office is an entity that can be sued. What are you talking about? An entity that can't be sued? The first part of that sentence says we can't be sued. And the second part of that sentence says, let's look at it again together. So you guys are not like, oh, you're making it up, baby. You're crazy. The second part of this sentence says, because the requested material are statutorily exempt from disclosure under the Open Records Act. So, number one, we can't be sued. That was cute. The second part of this is the documents that you're requesting, they fall under an exception of that statute. But here's the issue. We have a state and a federal, we have a state and federal entities here. They're matters of public records. When you meet with the White House, that becomes a federal entity. Those also become federal documents. If in Georgia you have an open records policy where these documents need to be shared regardless, you can't shield them. What she's saying is that there is a statute that protects these documents. Why? Well, we know from what they have mentioned in the past that Nathan Wade has gone to DC and met with folks at the White House in matters regarding January 6th, right? That is a matter that's pertinent to their investigation. So we're going to keep looking at this. I'm looking at this raw with you guys. I have not looked at it yet. We're going to look at it together to see how they argue this out in this document. It's only 6 pages. It's not going to take as long. But you're telling us you're above the law and that these documents are shielded. Well, why? Let's look at that. Let's look at what the argument is here. So they kick us off with an intro. They say on February 26th, the plaintiff filed a complaint against the Fulton County District Attorney's Office alleging an Open Records Act violation. The plaintiff claim is subject to dismissal because of two reasons. Number one, the district attorney's office is not a legal entity capable of being sued. You heard me say it again. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office is not a legal entity capable of being sued. And two, the requested material are statutorily exempt from disclosure. Okay. Accordingly, this court should dismiss the plaintiff's claim without prejudice. Well, why, Fani? Tell us your facts. Look, this is the I've never seen them put together. I've never seen this office put together facts this short. These facts are 1 paragraph long. Just one. They usually have a lot to say. The facts usually, before you get to the argument section in a legal document, they set everything up. They gave us a paragraph. What does it say? It says, on January 11th, the plaintiff made one open records request to the Fulton County's District Attorney's Office. Okay. The office of the Fulton County District Attorneys acknowledged the receipt of the request. They did, to view county records and responded pursuant to the Open Records Act. They were like, hey, we follow the law. We got the request and we responded to them. We even gave them a tracking number. We even gave them a good old tracking number so they can see what happened. Then, and they don't say this here in this document. Well, they actually do. Then what they're about to tell us, we gave them a good old tracking number. And then we took a month to respond to their request and let them know that we don't have any of the documents. After our attorneys were in court, I miss my buzzer. Crazy. Listen up. So after that happens, after your attorneys actually go to court and say something that is completely contradictory to what you said, we have determined that these records do exist. But now we are saying that they are shielded. Well, why? Notwithstanding receiving a response from the Office of the Fulton County District Attorney on or about February 26th, plaintiffs cited a complaint alleging a violation of the Open Records Act. Plaintiff's civil action was brought against the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, an entity, again, they say it again, it's the third time they say it, guys, an entity which is not capable of being sued. I've never seen this before. An entity that is not capable of being sued. Let's go to their argument. I can't. This is crazy. Argument A. Standard for motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim. This is very normal. A party may file a responsive pleading to assert that a complaint has failed to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. A motion to dismiss will be granted where a complaint shows with certainty that the claimant would not be entitled to relief under any state of provable facts asserted to support itself thereof. And the movement establishes that the claimant cannot possibly introduce evidence within the framework of a complaint sufficient to warrant a grant of the relief sought. And taking that out of legalese, what they are basically saying here is, hey, they said that they have this claim. There's no evidence to support it. There's no relief that can be sought. Like, what are we going to do? They want us to give them these documents. Well, in essence, yes, that's what they're asking for. But at the same time, the DA's office is just like, this is just a waste of time. Why are we even going to court over this? There's no, like, they can't get relief from it. What are we going to give them? We're going to give them the documents if they're legally protected. That's the argument. Their argument is that these documents are legally protected under the statute. They cite a case here from 2012, and they talk about that case. It says the plaintiff's complaint must be dismissed because the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, oh, here's the fourth time, is an entity not capable of being sued. Oh, I missed my buzzer. B, plaintiff complaints fails as a matter of law because the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, here's number 5, is an entity not capable of being sued. Oh, plaintiff's complaint against the Fulton County District Attorney's Office should be dismissed as a matter of law because the DA's office is not an entity that may be sued. They cite a Myers case here from 2020. And it says in Myers, the Georgia Court of Appeals explicitly stated that the office of the district attorney cannot be sued. This is what that is. That's why that argument showed up here 5 times. They're using one Georgia case in which it was stated, I don't know why, I was not legally educated here. I come from the proud state of Massachusetts in the north. But they're using this Court of Appeals case to say, because it was cited in that case, it was another district attorney's office, that it could not be sued. I want to dive deeper into that, even on a federal level. I've seen so many people talk about this throughout the week, and that's why I wanted to take my time with it and parse it out and look at both sides of the coin and see what each side is saying. But for her to say throughout this entire document, we are on number 5. This office is not capable of being sued. Okay? Although the position of the district attorney is provided for in the Georgia Constitution, neither the Georgia Code nor the Georgia Constitution establishes the office as the district attorney as a separate legal entity capable of suing or being sued. I'm sorry, guys, I can't. We can't sue the DOJ. We can't sue. We cannot sue the top legal people in our states. They get sued all the time. Attorney generals get sued all the time. What do you mean that if we can sue an attorney general, why can't we sue the department? Like, we can't sue your office? We can't sue the Fulton County DA's office? I mean, thank you, Brian. He said, don't forget God is on her side too. I don't understand. Not capable of being sued. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. This debauchery. Okay. So we talked about Myers. That's their first case that they're citing. They are now citing Sherbert, which is in 2019. This is the second one. And what did that case stand for? It said holding that although the Georgia Constitution designated the county clerk of Superior Court as an officer of the county, nothing established the clerk's office as a separate legal entity subject to direct suit. Okay. The holding in Myers, so we talked about Myers up here, and we're now talking about Sherbert. The holding in Myers was based on the general principle that in every action there must be a legal entity as the real plaintiff and the real defendant. Mike, I missed my buzzer. I mean, listen up. I don't know. I don't understand this argument. Every action, there must be a legal entity that is the real plaintiff and the real defendant. So are we just saying, hey, we need White House records from your office from when you went there so we can report on it properly? I'm not the real defendant. You're not the real plaintiff. We are not real. And it's just like, wait, what? Just give us the documents or not. Like, we could go to the White House and get them. Like, what is the problem? And if you have nothing to hide, just share it. What is the problem? I mean, I can't. Let's keep going. Let's go on with the debauchery. Okay. Georgia law recognizes only 3 categories of legal entities with the power to sue and to be sued. Oh, this is so bad. And it's guess where it comes from? 1958, right in front of Woolworths. Woolworths has entered the chat. One of our favorite people has entered the chat. So there's 3 things. It just got real. That she's saying that we need to be able to sue people, right? There's 3 categories of legal entities with the power to sue. 1 is natural persons, people like me and you. Like if I wanted to sue Fani Willis myself, I could. You know, if Mike wanted to sue Fani Willis, he could. If Captain Teach wanted to sue Fani Willis, he could. If Lynette wanted to do it, she could. We are natural people by ourselves, right? So what is the second one? She says, an artificial person, AKA a corporation. Hey guys, did you know that corporations are like artificial people? Is ChatGPT going to sue on your behalf? I'm kidding, of course, but they are right here. But that's the second one. Now, the third one is such a quasi-artificial persons as the law recognizes as being capable to sue. It's a 1958 case that they cite here. I think it's Cravey, Southern Underwriters. It is a Georgia case. So again, it's a very old school Georgia case that they're citing here. It says in its reasoning, the appellate court found no instances in which the Georgia appellate courts or the federal courts have applied Georgia law to find that a district attorney's office could be sued. So you've got, on one hand, you're using 2 modern cases. One, I think, was like from 21 and the other was from 19, that, you know, the DA's office could not be sued. And then on the other hand, we are now going to 1958 and right in front of Woolworths to talk about the 3 criteria in which an entity can be sued. Do you see how this argument starts to fall apart a little bit? Because it's just like, all right, you guys are standing on the square that the DA's office cannot be sued. It doesn't make sense federally. So I hope to see a response from the plaintiffs like, hey, we're just asking you for legal documents. Why are we getting this into the weeds? So into the weeds. The Fulton County's District Attorney's Office is not a natural person. See how they tie it to the number 1? It's not a natural person. That's what they say. It's not a corporation. That's what they say here. And it's not a quasi-artificial person. That's what they say here. Usually when people cite the law, they'll tell you what the law is and they'll tell you how it doesn't apply to them. But instead of all of those 3 things, they are a mere arm of the county government. Oh, I want my buzzer. They're an arm of the county government. So you're a part of the government People are asking you for government documents from the federal government and from the state government. People are asking you for government documents that are a matter of public record. But we are standing behind argument one, which is, well, we can't be sued. What? Okay. All right. Furthermore, as a persuasive authority, the district court for the Northern District of Georgia has recognized that the Fulton County DA's office was not a legal entity capable of being sued. Here's case number 3 where they're citing it from 2017. Another modern case. This is the third modern case that they cite. Therefore, plaintiff's claims against Fulton County must be dismissed as a matter of law without prejudice. I'm just going to go to the heading of this argument here, because it says that as a matter of law, they're not an entity capable of being sued. So that's why we saw a lot of language in there regarding that. And just to recap, going back to their first argument, they're like, hey, there's failure to state a claim. There's not a claim that they can be compensated for, or a claim that can be delivered, or for them to have restitution for what happened. Okay, let's go into their third argument, which says that the records requested by the plaintiff are exempt. So again, we can't be sued, but the second part of this is it cannot be shared under the plain language of the Open Records Act. So they're trying to say that this is shielded by the law. Let's see how they argue this. They say, even if the plaintiff had named an entity capable of being sued, oh my God, I lost count, guys, on how many times they say this. The present civil action, this court cannot provide plaintiff relief because the records are exempt under the plain language of the statute. All right, Fanny, well, tell us. The Open Records Act does not require the disclosure of the records of law enforcement, prosecution, or regulatory agencies in any pending investigation or prosecution of criminal or unlawful activity. They use a 2023 case, Augusta Press versus Roundtree. The Georgia Court of Appeals affirmed a trial court's dismissal of complaints when the requested materials were statutorily exempt from public release. Okay, that's great. That's all fine and great. Tell us how these documents, these White House documents, are exempt from being shared. Tell us, please. We're so curious. They say the plaintiff requested materials, which are records of meetings and communications with the White House and the DOJ, clearly fall under the statutory exemption as they concern a currently pending investigation and prosecution. Didn't I tell you guys? I called it. Nathan went up there and he talked to them about the January 6th stuff. And it's a pending investigation. Like, this is why this whole thing feels so corrupt. It's like, okay, well, we had to take Nathan off of the damn case. We had to take him off. The office stayed on, but you're not sharing those records because it's involved in a pending investigation? All right. Interesting. Jim Jordan and team wanted records. And guess what? We couldn't get them because it couldn't put you in contempt. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Everybody's asking me like, well, what happens? She's clearly in contempt, but she's partly not. Because she's like, we're not saying no, we're going to give it to you on a rolling basis. You know, those tumbleweeds from back in the day that you see in the old movies, the tumbleweeds. So she's not necessarily saying no. And I think that's why she's not in contempt. Because we're going to give it to you on a rolling basis. We don't have enough staff to get that right now. We're working on all these cases in Fulton County. We have prosecutors that are yelling at the young thug trial judge. We have people that are working on all of these things. It's just interesting. It's just interesting how all of these people are always going to be, especially in a prosecution's office, holding other people to the standards of the law, prosecuting people every day, putting people in jail every single day. Yet when it's time for you to give people documents, it's like, no, We have an active investigation under here. These documents are protected. All right. Plaintiff's complaint recognizes that these communications concern the current prosecution of defendant Donald Trump and members of the conspiracy to illegally overturn the 2020 presidential election. Here's that indictment number. Further, Judge McAfee acknowledged in his order denying Jeffrey Clark's motion to compel, which is the subject of the hearing from which plaintiff has cited in his complaints, that the communications were created during the state's investigation of the case. Okay, so we're protecting them because when the state started investigating, it became, okay, I see what she's doing. She's trying to shield it under Georgia. Like, hey, it's an active investigation under Georgia. It comes under this shield. We keep it. Even though it's a federal document, they relate to federal crimes. That's why this case, this RICO thing is so bad, because it's like, it's a federal case because it contains a federal election. But you're trying to hold these documents and keep them back here. Guys, it is likely that this case will not go to trial in 2024. It is likely that if Donald Trump gets elected, and even if he doesn't, if he does get elected, we could have a president that has to go to court, not only in New York, but in a year or two from now. He might have to come to court in Georgia for the 2020 election. That's what this case does. So whether you're a moderate, a centrist, a conservative, this case has garnered national attention because if one prosecutor in one state can do this, a prosecutor in Nebraska can do it. Oh, I missed my buzzer. A prosecutor in, Montana can do it. A prosecutor in California can do it. A prosecutor anywhere can do it. And then when the public is asking for these documents, like, hey, what do you have? They can say, I'm going to shield it under Georgia law. This sets precedent for the entire country. That's why this case matters. That's why everybody's watching it. That's why when you see things like this end up in legal documents, they'll end up in, you see those books behind me? Future law students are going to study this case. They're going to look at it. 10, 15 years from now, they're going to learn from what we are watching right now unfold before our eyes. I see a few supers, guys. I'm going to continue reading this. We're almost done. I'll read those and then we'll go from there. But looking at this, right? The order on defendant's motion to compel, so in that Clark order that Justice or Judge McAfee ruled on, he said this: there is no question that the records sought concern an ongoing investigation and prosecution. Therefore, under the plain language of this statute, plaintiff's complaint must be dismissed as the records requests are statutorily exempt from disclosure. For the reasons detailed above, this motion to dismiss should be granted and the complaint should be dismissed without prejudice or with prejudice. Respectfully submitted, Fani Willis. There it is, guys. There are the documents. No one's hiding them from you. I mean, that's what it is. So everybody's like, oh, she says she's above the law. But what I wanted to do is take a deeper dive with you guys, look at the shenanigans and really see what her team is saying. Why are they saying that we should not be able to give you these documents? We are not able to be sued. You, dear viewer, you're able to be sued. I'm able to be sued. If I have a business, AV7 Digital is able to be sued. If I work for a prosecutor's office, I guess in Massachusetts, you could be sued. I don't know what it's like in Oklahoma. I don't know what it's like in Missouri. I don't know what it's like in these other states, in Michigan, wherever you guys are from, and sound off in the chat. What state are you from? Do you think prosecutors or prosecutors' offices in your state can be sued? Let me know what states you guys are from. I would love to see it. Oh, I mean, oh my goodness. I'm at this starts to irritate me after a certain point because I'm just like, these arguments are just so absurd. Let's come to you guys in super chats, and then I want to see where you're from. Oh, people are Crime Inc. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Dinar, who's in Texas. Shout out to Corky, who's in Arizona. Nay is in New York. Living in Virginia. Nice. Shout out to Florida. Is that Montana? Texas here, and our attorney general has been sued. Thank you so much, Robert. That is correct. Attorney generals are sued all the time. So if we can sue an attorney general, are you saying we can't sue a county DA? It's not an entity able to be sued. Oh my God. Shout out to Michigan with Lynette. Shout out to Captain Teach in Virginia. We've got Missouri in the building and New Jersey. All right, guys, let's take a quick super chat break and then we will go from there. But I just wanted to pop on here really quickly and talk about this because everybody's like, hey, you know, she says she's above the law, but why? That's what we just looked at together. Shout out to Lady Di with the first super chat of a super chat. She gave out 5 AV to the 7th Power memberships. Thank you so much, Lady Di. Really appreciate that. I know you're working on things on your house. I was once a homeowner, and I know that stuff is not fun. So shout out to you. Hopefully you guys get it resolved quickly. But for those of you in the chat that have received a AV to the 7th Power membership from Lady Di, please tell her thank you. We have manners around here. And of course, she's got a lot going on. So for her to do that and make sure that you guys are in the know, that is fantastic. Quick note for the members. I have decided to take the bar exam, and it's going to come with a move, and I'm going to take you all with me on the journey. But with that move allows me to bring more attorneys, actual practicing attorneys in the space as well. So I'm really happy to be bringing them on. And if you're a member, you're going to be very, very close to that journey. So, you know, if you're a member on this channel, stay locked in. I'm going to start posting a lot more often, asking you guys for feedback on a lot of things. I like to call my members shareholders over here because I really think that your opinion matters. Matter of fact, I was just on the phone. One of the reasons why I was late, I was talking to a subscriber for a pretty long time on the phone, and about an hour. But it was really because I wanted to run something by them, and they were one of the longest running subs that I've ever had. And that person's opinion mattered to me that much. So that's why I'm saying, please don't think that these memberships are a one-off thing. You can subscribe to whoever you want. But when you choose to subscribe over here and become a member over here, and if you're gifted with that, you get to try it out and see what it's like. And we can take it from there. So Lady Di is giving you guys that opportunity. Thank you so much, Lady Di, and good luck with the house. Shout out to E. Capone, who says, for the new soundboard, you know, I have some legacy sounds. I just kept 2 out of the 8. 6 of them are new. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out, E. Capone, but we're going to do it. And thank you so much for the super chat, the $4.99 super chat. I think you sent me a Cash App yesterday. That was really nice of you as well. Definitely not forgotten. So I want to thank you for that. Shout out to Dinara, who says, go AB7. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going. I'm keeping the train moving. We're doing it. We are doing it in the spring, right? She sends another one that says, Fanny says, documents. We ain't got no stinking documents. She's like, what documents? What documents do we have? We don't have any of them. Yes, you do. You have them. They're here. They exist. Your people stood in front of a judge and said they exist. So you're like, we can't be sued, but they're also protected. That's their argument. Shout out to Audrey. Hi, Audrey. It's been a little bit of a minute. Good to see you. She sends a $4.99 super chat. No comment, no question. Pure love of the game. Love you so much, Audrey. Hope you are doing well. Shout out to No. He says, good evening. No to the no is here. Good day, AV7. Guys, No is one of, over these last few days, as I have taken YouTube on full time, No has been kind of spearheading this effort, cheering me on, being a great supporter in this effort. If you guys can do me a favor and type no in the chat, that would be fantastic. No often will bless me here on the super chat side, but we'll send a cash app too. And I would say every single time I've gone live in the past few days, No's been here. And no, I can't tell you how much that means to me. You know, like it gives me that encouragement to continue on. YouTube is not easy by any means, guys. Like I have to constantly think about this like I would be in the corporate world. Like, okay, do I need to bring on another editor? I've got to move faster. We've got the Trump trial. I've got to get my people information faster. Do I need 3 editors? Do I need a script person? Do I need somebody to pull these legal documents for me? I still got to deal with brands. I still have to think about my brand. Like it's so much. It is absolutely an enterprise. You know, so when I get supers like this, No from other like high value people, like No's a high value man. Like he owns his own businesses, right? So for you to support me, like somebody that's just bumbling around trying to figure this out, it means so much. No. So thank you. I cannot thank you enough for being a pillar in this channel. Thank you again. Shout out to Erie, who says, thank you for breaking this down for us. By the way, lipstick shade looks gorgeous on you. Thank you, Erie. And the other thing, guys, I'm going back towards like something that I'm super passionate about, and also just letting you guys know more about me. My favorite movie is Kill Bill, but like I like vintage Americana style. Like I've ordered some new things for when I stream, like just vintage type tops from the 50s. If I can figure out how to curl my hair in the 50s, that'd be great. And surprise for you guys, I'm going to spoil it. I also am going to do an episode in like that Americana, like I think it's from World War I or II, with the blue top and, you know, the woman that's like this with the red bandana that says, we can do it. Like, listen, it's an election year. I just want to bring us back to our roots, you know, in a fun way. So, you know, I'm talking to a bunch of branding people on doing a campaign on that and doing some fun pictures and video on that, all types of fun things. But as far as the lipstick, yes, red is back. And I will, if you're interested in this color, I will go ahead and link it in the description for you. So if you want to pick it up, Ari, you can totally do that. Shout out to one of my faves, Mike in Tennessee, who says, I miss your buzzer too. Wouldn't it have been perfect tonight, Mike? Just reading that every single time she said, we are above the law. Boop. We are above the law. Boop. No, you're not. You're not. No one should be. No one in this country should be above the law at all. Not an entity, not a corporation, not a person, not a president, whoever. No one should be above the law. That's what the foundations of this entire country have been built upon. We got away from England because we didn't want to have a king. We didn't want to have a monarchy. That's what people have fought for thousands of years. Are there scars on the country? Yes, there are. You know, you have the Native American thing, you have slavery. We get it. But as far as freedom and independence and rights, like this is who we are. So to blatantly see court documents, like I'll be honest, guys, as an aspiring attorney, that makes me sad. I can't, like, if I get in trouble with the IRS or whoever, I can't do this. I can't say this to them. Oh yeah, you don't have the ability to sue me. Okay. Can you guys do me a favor? Type in Mike in 10. So Mike in Tennessee, type in Mike in 10. Okay. In the chat, he's also another one of my favorites. Super, super high supporter in the community. He's from Tennessee. So he's from the South like us and watching all of this debauchery take place. But another one that has highly attended these streams and has been a part of the conversation. I believe we still owe the men some shirts. So I need to, you know what, let me write that down. I need to get that on my to-do list too. This is how crazy my to-do list is. I need to get with my graphic designer to see where those are. So Mike just reminded me on that one. It's good to see you, Mike. I hope all is well. Thank you so much for the super chat. Shout out to Dianora, who is back again, who says the Imperium of Fulton County. I mean, what else do we do with this? What else do we do, Dianora? Thank you so much. Shout out to Wendy, nice dog, who says Fani needs to get out of her fantasy zone. No one can talk to Congress the way that she does. No one is talking to news outlets that just want papers like this. No one is saying that they're above the law. You don't see this every day. And I really don't think this is what the framers of the Constitution wanted to see. Thank you, Wendy. Shout out to Kevin, who says the lead was zapping people because he thought they were dissing you. So I'm going to be real careful when I say I love your content and intelligence and nothing about how adorable you are rocking those glasses. Thank you so much, Kevin. I will not zap you on this side. I believe that was a misunderstanding on that side that he's trying to rectify. But yeah, like, it's my partner in crime. And that just goes to show like how well we work together. He's just like, yeah, hey, you know, no disrespect on my side. We tolerated for AV. And same thing on my side. Like if I ever see that in the chat, like TLA is honestly the person that I learned how to do all this stuff from. And I owe a big part of my YouTube career to him, from being that person that decided to sit down and actually teach me how to do this and actually teach me how to have the right equipment. And it takes time, guys. Like, you got to get the right sound. You got to get the right lights. You got to get the right soundboard, like all of those things, but also have a personality where we can be able to connect with you guys, where we can't necessarily see you and talk to you all the time, but just make this content entertaining. So Kevin, thank you so much for popping in on my side and saying that. And, you know, all of you guys are valued here. You know, it doesn't matter what you give, whatever the case may be. If you're taking time out of your day to watch this content, you could watch it from anyone else, but you want to see what I have to say, that means a lot. It really does. So thank you so much, Kevin. I'm glad you like the glasses. I'm glad you like them. Shout out to Lady J, who says, hey, beautiful lady, please share your lipstick. You guys all want it. So this is MAC. This is a vintage one. It's upstairs, but as soon as the stream is over, ladies, I'm going to link it. I'm going to link it. I'm either going to link it as a product where you can watch the video and it will just automatically pop up, or I will put it in the description box. Listen, you need this because it is, it's like matte. So it's not shiny. So I can like drink water or whatever and it won't get on anything. So, yeah, I don't have it upstairs. So I'm going to have to come back. What I will tell you, MAC does get dry a little bit. So if you're going out to a dinner party or something, it's fine. But if you're going to be talking like me, like right now, I need some water. And I'm like, I know it's not going to stick anywhere. You know, you can even like, yep. Look, I just kissed my hand. Look, it like there's like little transfer. So please buy it if you're interested. I will drop it in the description box below. Shout out to Nay, who says, we love you, AV. I love you too. I love you too, Nay. Hope you're doing well. I love those braids. I love how thin they are. I was thinking about doing that for the summer. But I see like some people like overdoing like their braids where it goes like box braids that go all the way down to your knees. And it's just like, girl, why? So thank you so much, Nay. Shout out to Tessie, who says, looking fantastic, AV, face beat. Hey, you got to do it. You got to do it. It's Sunday. It's a new week. We're starting. We all have our time this week. Some of y'all probably cleaning, doing laundry, getting ready for the week, and you want to listen to a podcast. You came here. I love that. I love that. So I'm so happy that you like it, and really good to see you, Tessie. Hope all is well. Shout out to Bobby T, who says, Fani says that when God takes the day off, he's going to put her in charge. I mean, the defiance, the entitleism, I don't know what to say, Bob. I've never seen anything like this before. Like to tell Congress, practically flipping the bird to Congress, like, you're going to get it when I'm ready. These people, like, and that's what it seems like. It's just like, they're just like, we're overwhelmed, so we're just going to respond to everybody and say whatever we want. That's not an excuse, and that's not a way you should do things. But that seems like what we are seeing here. It 100% does. It 100% does. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Shout out to Wes, who's like, Fanny is ridiculous and has to go. I mean, Wes, do you have the ability to be sued? I mean, most of us do. All right, my phone died, guys. I'm just gonna go right here to make sure that I get everything on the Cash App side. I do want to shout out one person on the Cash App side, and that is No. Who is the stream sponsor? He just sent me another $50. So if you guys can type in No in the chat, that would be fantastic. What does he say in this Cash App? He says, looking good, keep smiling. I will, No. Thank you so much. And, again, you guys don't have to be here. We're here for a short time. Life is short. You could be anywhere on this platform. But the fact that you guys want to hang out with me, it always means a lot. So I'm so happy that you guys are giving No his flowers. No, thank you again. Like I said, over the past few streams, me stepping away from corporate America, doing this full time, going to finish up this law stuff, taking the bar exam so I can actually be a licensed attorney on this platform and have that credential, take you guys on the way while I do it. It's people like you that make it possible. So thank you guys so much for sharing, for shouting out No. And Julia says, keep sharing more about yourself too. It's fun. It is. I'm a big nerd, guys. Like once you guys get to know me, like, you're going to be like, oh my God, she's like my little sister. And shout out to Jay, who says that MAC lipstick, the MAC lipstick I wear is make love to the camera. It's a liquid matte. It'd be fitting for you too. Thank you, Jay. I'm going to check it out. Like I said, I want to do like a whole Americana theme. I'm going to learn how to do the retro hair things, like the little curls. So that way it makes it easier for me to show up here. And I'm just going to pop in and like just show you guys like different looks and stuff. It's going to be fun. This summer is going to be so cool. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Wendy says, AV, that lipstick would be good if it doesn't come off on collars. Ooh, Wendy. That is correct. The plot thickens, Wendy. Wendy. Listen, I mean, do you guys like that? Do you like having that? Like if you're single, please don't answer this if you're married. If you're single, do you like having that lipstick mark on your collar? I'm just curious. This is also like a think tank for the male mind. While we think about that, shout out to Sherry, who says, I always love your explanations of content. Also a big fan of the vintage look. It's so sexy, but understated. It is. Like if I can have a meetup and just do a 1920s party for my birthday, I would love to invite you all. And then we can just like do that. This is what I did yesterday. As I came up with this whole plot thickens thing, I went to, not the plot thickens, the whole Kill Bill vibe thing. I went down a rabbit hole of like vintage music, and they actually have like a lot of, it kind of starts with The Great Gatsby. They have a lot of like themed music like that, where they take modern songs and they'll have jazz bands perform them in a vintage way. And I'm like, I cannot wait to get back to me. Like those are the things that I love. But when I'm not creating, like that's what I like to do on my spare time, is like check out like vintage music, jazz, like that sort of thing. So Sherry, I'm glad that you like it, but you are absolutely right. So understated, and it's so classic. It is so classic. So thank you so much. E Capone's like, what meetup? Are you doing a meetup? I'm there. He's like, stop playing. Higher Thinking says no evidence. No evidence is better. And doesn't it like ruin your shirt? Okay, hold on. Did I just see Papa V say no lipstick on the collar? Captain T says no. Captain T, you guys are funny. Robert says, I'm single. I'd be proud to have that shade on any of my white shirts. Oh my God. The plot Robert has entered the chat. He has
One of our
entered the
favorite
chat.
people has entered the chat.
He's getting real with us.
It
I
just
love
got
it.
real.
I love it. Shout out to Mars, who says, as a single man, I'm not a lipstick guy, but yours is on point. Sunday and bar ready. There we go. Mars, thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Yeah, like that's what it is, guys. Like, hey, like sometimes it's the look of it. It is annoying though, because like, you know, if you do kiss somebody, like, you know, you leave a mark on them. And then if they're a dude and you wear lip gloss and then their lips are all shiny and they're trying to figure it, like they're trying to hide it, like, oh, what did you just do? Do you have a napkin? Do you have something in your purse where I can like conceal that? And so, you know, that's the part of makeup that gets really annoying for women. But as long as you guys think it looks good, I think that's all that matters. And the cultured gentleman, it's good to see you, brother. He says, love. Oh, hit the button for you. He says, love the color, but I don't want it on my shirts. It's a lot to take out. Like it's hard to take out. More for me says AP's lips make the lipstick pop. Oh my God. We are getting in there. Well, listen, guys, it has been just about an hour and 25 minutes. I want to thank the stream sponsor, No, for sponsoring today's stream. I wanted to pop on here really quickly. I know a lot of people are talking about this Fani Willis document, but I don't think people have shown you the contrast of them. What was the original request? And what did she say in response? That is what we're constantly looking at. As far as content for the week, a couple of things. I am going to be looking at the YSL Fani Willis prosecutor exchange and them yelling at each other. So me and my editor are working on that right now. We are back at the Trump trial this week. We have a panel of 12 jurors actually in panel. They're ready. Somebody lit themselves on fire on Friday. I don't know what's going on with that. But I'm bringing myself up to speed to give you guys the Trump trial updates as we go. As you know, that is not live streamed or televised. So it's a little bit of a tougher one, but we're making do. Some other ideas that people have given me, Clayton Echard, he was on The Bachelor. I don't know, some woman he dealt with got pregnant from a blowjob. Don't know how that happens, but apparently it happened. So we're looking at that one. That's a little bit lower on my list, but had a great conversation with someone else today that wanted to see some classics from the OJ trial. So might do that one. I might actually do that one. That would be pretty cool. And if anything, of course, I would want to reach out to the brother Legal Vices who has done work on that already. Ham, Chandler, a few people that I know on LawTube that have focused on that case already. So it'd be nice for us to take a blast from the past, check out that case. Of course, stay locked in here for all things Fani Willis, Nathan Wade. Lead attorney is taking a little bit of a hiatus right now, but I think he is working on more of the divorce content and some of the family law content. So stay locked into both of us. But anywho, none of this has been legal advice. None of that. I'm so excited that you guys are checking me out. Stay safe out there. I will see you in the next one. Bye.